Welcome to Photoshop is Fun with Kenneth Lobenberg. Today we're going to be going over how to make snow or making a winter wonderland. Let's get started. Okay, so here we have a snowy day in my backyard here in Austin, Texas, with my son's 2-foot tall R2D2, which I traded for a poster, which was kind of cool. And so I want to go ahead and show you first of all how I made the snow on the background and then how I made the snow in the air. So let's go ahead and get started. So here's another view of the same background. So here's another view of the same backyard. So we have snow on the ground here. It's kind of in the trees. It's definitely covering large chunks of this area. And right here is what my backyard looked like to begin with. So let's go over to Channels, select the green channel, and then either Command or if you're on a Mac PC, Control, click that. Let's go over to our layers again, create a new layer, invert that selection, and spill black into that area. Oh, that's looking so good so far. Alright, so let's go on to our background layer, create another new layer, and spill this one white. Okay, let's merge these two into one layer. Now we've got a nice black and white layer of what we had previous here. Let's go ahead and hit Command J one more time, and now we've got two of them. Alright, let's go up to Filter, Filter Gallery, and now we want to use Diffuse Glow. But as you can see, this is all black right here. The reason for this is that our background color is black. So let's go ahead and hit X, reverse that out, and go back up to Filter, Filter Gallery, and now you can see we have this just beautiful diffuse glow, as the name implies. Now I have mine set to 6, 10, and 15. Yours might change depending on how big your image is. Alright, so now we have this kind of like soft black and white photo here. Doesn't quite look like snow. But let's go ahead and change our blend mode here from normal to screen. And it's starting to look a lot better here now, but still it's too black and white. So let's take our background layer, hit Command J, copy that to a new layer. So let's go down to our background layer, hit Command J, and then move that up to the top. Now on its blend mode, let's set this to soft light. Alright, so now we're starting to get some more of these colors back in these areas here and here, like maybe some of the greens going through. Now, if this is too much color on your image, just turn down the opacity. If it turns out it's not enough, let's go down to layer 2, which is our black and white layer with no blend mode set to it. Let's create a layer mask, and let's go over to our brush, and let's get a nice rough brush in here. Alright, now go ahead and make it whatever size is appropriate for your piece. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting black in here. I want to make this a little more extreme than it needs to be, just so you can see where it is. You'd probably want to turn down the opacity for this, but I'm not going to, just like I said, so you can see it. So if you start doing this in these areas here, maybe the snow isn't quite coming through real well in those areas. You know, maybe it's starting to melt. And again, like if you want to do it even more, you can come up here and put a layer mask on that one and continue that. And here's where you probably will want to go ahead and use that opacity. So I can get rid of some of that snow in certain areas if you'd like. Alright, so now let's see how that snow got there. Alright, so here's the R2D2 in my backyard. Here's what it looks like without the snow on. So we've got lots of different sizes of chunks here, the itsy bitsy ones and big ones and all that. So let's go ahead and turn these off and let's create our own. So the first thing we need to do is build a snow brush. So I created this right here. It's a 200 by 200 inch. So I created this right here. It's a 200 by 200 pixel image. And all I did was draw two circles in it in black and white. I'm going to hit Command A, come up to Edit, Define Brush Preset. You can name your brush if you'd like, Snow, and hit OK. Now if you want to learn more about how to create custom brushes, I did a video a few weeks ago. You can find that on Photoshop is Fun. But let's go ahead and see how to use this brush. Okay, so right here we have our new brush, and I'm excited to test this out. Let's see what this looks like here. Make sure it's set to 100%, and look at that lovely snow. That is perfect. All right, well, thank you. Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. All right, so let's go over to our brush palette, and we're going to start all the way at the top and work our way down. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is increase our spacing. Now, you can always see the preview down in this area of what's going to happen with the effects you're putting onto this. Let's go to Dynamic Brush, and let's increase that jitter. I'm going to increase the jitter all the way up to 100%. Now you can start to see it's changing the size of these a little, maybe adding a couple extras here and there. You can see now it's starting to look a little more like snow. It's still very patterny though. It still has a defined pattern to it though. So let's go up to angle jitter. And you can see now it's kind of starting to move them around a lot more. It's looking really nice. And let's go ahead and add some roundness jitter. Now that's going to keep them all from being perfectly round. You're going to want a couple of them round, so don't go hog wild on this. And then let's go up to scatter. So scatter is basically how far apart they are. So if you really want really light snow, you can do that really scattered. You see you'll get that real diffuse kind of lightness to it. But if you want it real tight and keep it that way, and you get that. But if you want to create a lot of snow real quickly, you can increase the count and also the scatter. And now we're getting a lot of snow. I'm going to turn down that count just a little though. Okay, and the last thing we want to do is transfer. And we want to turn this opacity from 0% all the way up to 100. And that's going to go ahead and make some of these snowflakes lighter than others. All right. So let's go ahead and work on our first layer. I'm going to reduce down that brush size, and I'm just going to start going to town on this. You can add as much or as little snow here as you want. This is really a personal choice to the way you want your piece of art to look. And if you want to avoid your subject, you can also do that as well. Okay. All right, now for this layer, I'm going to come up here to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I'm going to set this down pretty low just because these are really small particulates. And then I'm going to go up to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. And I'm going to keep this at a 52% angle, or 52-degree angle, and I'm going to go ahead and reduce down its distance. All right. So we got our first layer of snow. Now, for the next layer, go ahead and just increase that brush size some. All right, for our next layer, go ahead and increase that brush size some and just start putting it on again. Again, usually I find the bigger the particulates, the less dense I want to make this. But again, if you're depending on how your kind of snowstorm you want, that's really a personal choice. All right, and I'm just going to do the same things again. So I'm going to go down to Gaussian Blur, increase that maybe a little since those particulates are a little bit bigger, and then Motion Blur. And I'm going to continue to do this until I'm happy with the results. And as you can see on my previous one, we got pretty big on these snowflakes. We had 4 different versions of these. And the last ones we had some pretty large snowflakes, and they just get progressively smaller. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. Like and share if you did. May the force be with you, and enjoy making some snowy days. Thanks. Bye-bye.